Hey, what you playing there?
Just Dark Souls. I've been wanting something really hard lately.
Oh, I'll give you something hard.
Sure, I mean, how bad can it... Oh. Nice.
No. Seriously, I have a game for you.
Eh, what the heck? How hard can it be? Well, this sucks. Welcome to Divine Design, where we talk about aspects of gaming that are truly special. Or not so much. I've always found it so interesting how trends exist in video games. I mean, the 90s had this really big thing of genre dominance where JRPGs pretty much blew away anything that the West could have made. And we live in one ourselves right now, where there's more simulators than there are people on this planet. But in 2000s, there was one specific trend, but it became a big discussion, and that was on difficulty. You see, back in the early days, video games were notoriously difficult. In fact, some of the hardest video games of all time came out in the 80s to early 90s. Part of this was because of poor design, but for some games it was intentional. Castlevania, for example, uses difficulty to lengthen the playtime, which wasn't a bad thing then, considering most titles could be beaten in under an hour. So what's the point of talking about difficulty to begin with? I mean, some people just really like hard games, and others are complete babies who just want to watch a visual novel instead of enjoying an interactive art form. Yeah, those are your only two options, there's no in between. And for a while, there was a plethora of incredibly easy games out there. In fact, developing a very difficult title was essentially taboo. Then some Japanese fellas came along and showed the world how to be a man, and BAM! Demon Souls. Quite possibly the reason so many difficult games once again exist. And then those Japanese guys decided to make each sequential game easier and easier and easier. Wait, what? The thing about difficulty is it can be a good thing if you just stop trying to be the best gamer in the world, because we all know it, but you suck. What makes difficulty so enjoyable for so many people is that conquering of the obstacle. Some may find it unbearable, but those who have defeated that big boss and had that rush of ecstasy know exactly what I'm talking about. And in fact, there was a game recently that has done it really, really well. It might be the only thing it's done well. But anyway, I'm talking about Isbarah. While Isbarah may technically be considered a side-scrolling, action-platforming bullet hell, I like to think of it more in the genre I like to call BSFM, boss simulators for masochists. Essentially, the game is nothing but a boss run mode with some story that connects each encounter. The world of Isbarah is actually a pretty cool concept. All of its inhabitants are called Designed, and they all have a role over some aspect of Isbarah. Everyone there has been thought up by someone or something, so it ends up being a world of pure imagination. Pure imagination. Pure imagination. Dang it! Each boss encounter gets significantly more and more difficult, but what makes the game so enjoyable is that it knows that difficulty does not mean complexity. Isbarah's greatest strength is in its simplicity. Everything is designed around 3 simple tools that you'll need to master in order to progress. Idia has the ability to create platforms, slow down time briefly, and perform short air dashes. Each one on its own has a small impact on the gameplay, but when used in conjunction, all 3 powers Idia possesses can make any single obstacle feel workable. And honestly, I use the exact same philosophy when I make these videos. Everything boils down to 3 simple things: tape, a screwdriver, and this condom. Now I know you might be thinking, but this screwdriver is very important. Isbarah doesn't fall into the typical bullet hell trap, which is to just keep adding more and more death on the screen as the game goes on. While yes, there are significantly more things that do appear on the screen to kill you as you progress, the game really focuses around patterns more than anything. The first time you ever see a boss start to attack you, it's pretty hard not to immediately panic and feel like there's nothing you could have done to prevent getting hit. Yet, almost guaranteed you'll notice how to dodge it the second time you see the attack. However, not getting hit is still the hard part. Slowing down time and creating barriers are incredibly limited resources when compared to the dash, but can prove to be infinitely more valuable. Throughout the game, you start to feel when you need to slow down time for just a second to help you evaluate your positioning. The same goes for using barriers, which can also double as platforms. Seriously, barriers are the most useful tool ever. This isn't to take away from dashing at all. You have 2 charges of the dash max, so you can double dash for some fancy dodging or just to accelerate your repositioning. Early on, you'll almost never use all 3 powers within quick succession of each other, but as the game goes on, it is mandatory to master them all. But don't get me wrong, this game gets hard. There are some brutally difficult bosses. The entire screen can load up with projectiles, and that feeling of helplessness becomes more powerful than ever, and you are going to die a lot. Come on, what is that? No. I can do this. No, I am a man! I'm gonna kill myself. Even though death is inevitable, it's so easy to get back into the boss fight, so I always feel like I want to try again. There's no level to replay through or set amount of lives before you have to restart, so every single time you die, you spawn right back at the start of the encounter. It really is a boss runner's dream. And every time I died, it was because I didn't utilize ADU's toolset properly. Most of the time, I just forgot to use the time slow or the barrier, so I just feel like a complete idiot. Every death felt like it was because I didn't use the tools at my disposal. The more and more attempts you start to make, you start to instinctually use the previous knowledge you've gained and understand how each power can be utilized in a new, complex way. It's actually a lot like math. Wow, did I really just try to sell this game by comparing it to math? I really do live in a world of your imagination. Son of a— Honestly though, I really enjoyed my time with Isbarah. I've always been a huge fan of really hard boss battles because that feeling of finally winning is something that I can't fully describe. It's why I played games like World of Warcraft for so long. Trying again and again, perfecting your strategy and eventually taking down the big baddie is just so exhilarating. Isbarah is a pretty dang fun game to just throw in for half an hour or so and work on the next really tough boss battle. If you like those classic Mega Man style boss fights, then I can't recommend it enough. Pick it up and I don't think you'll be disappointed. Well, I'll see you next time. Hey, thank you for checking out the most recent Divine Design. I really hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did and you want to see more, or keep up to date with the new ones that are coming out, then feel free to hit that subscribe button. If you did like the video, then honestly, hitting that like button will make my day. Also, feel free to leave a comment down below, telling me what you think about difficulty, and having a nice friendly conversation that is using nothing but proper argumenting tools, and being genuinely civil. That's usually what the YouTube comments are, right? Yeah, feel free to do that. But for real, I hope you enjoyed. See you next time.